Rest is not just about physical recovery, it's about your soul being renewed as well. And it's important that we create a restful environment that allows for this natural rhythm to work well. Think about it. When we're sleeping, that's when we dream, right? I'm sure at least one of us here listening will have had one experience where God spoke to you about something through your dreams. Maybe he showed up, or maybe he showed up through somebody. There was a message that, as I like to say, God knew that he would not get your attention until he got you completely knocked out. So it's a really, really important part of our relationship with the Lord. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Travel Light. It's your friend, Dr. Unoma. Thank you so much for tuning in. For my new friends, you are welcome. I am Unoma. I am a psychiatrist based in Glasgow, Scotland, and I am a lover of Jesus. And I believe that he cares deeply about us. Actually. And that care extends to our hearts, our emotions, our minds. And I believe he wants us to thrive where it comes to our mental and emotional health. So here at Travel Light, we're exploring what that looks like to give God access to that space, following him, the Good Shepherd, leading us into paths of righteousness. So if you haven't yet, wow, I just lost my train of thought there. If you haven't yet, can I ask you to subscribe to this channel? Hit that button. Make sure the notification bell is on. It means that every time new content comes out, you're first to know and you don't miss out on anything. And also share with a friend. Is there a pal you think would enjoy what we have to discuss here at Travel Lights? Go ahead and share with them. A friend, colleague, a boss, whatever. Go ahead and do that. And also like this video because it means you like it. And then I'm encouraged. And also YouTube is like, yay, they like her. So let's boost her up. So win-win, eh? Anyway, thank you again for joining in. As you know, we have been discussing various aspects of stress and how to manage it. And in the last episode, we introduced the concept of the Sabbath, which really is a countercultural rhythm that has been built into the world that God created. And I think it is really missing in our world today. I believe that we're very much primed for kind of hustle and massive productivity. And I think people do discuss self-care, which is positive, just, to start with. But I'm not sure that we're very diligent in with this. And I wonder how much of self-care is an afterthought for many of us. And I don't know that we necessarily view it as a component of our week that shouldn't be toyed with. And I also feel, certainly from my experience as a human being, that I've often felt guilty for enjoying the Sabbath or enjoying rest. I've been there. But anyway, thinking about the Sabbath and rest really inspired me to think about sleep, which I did touch on very briefly in the last episode. And I think we should just talk about sleep. So the next 3 episodes, including this one, is going to be about sleep, really. Let's delve into it. It is a beautiful thing. It is a wonder. It is a mystery. And I know that somewhere my husband is having a very good chuckle because, my goodness, do I love my sleep. I know. Everyone who knows me knows I do. So I am a wee bit biased, I will say, but I will prove to you that sleep is massively important. So today we're going to be examining the science of sleep. We're going to be talking about the importance for our well-being and also the spiritual dimensions of sleep as well, because it's not just this thing that happens and we have to do. But some fun facts about sleep to start with. Woohoo! Do you know that we spend about 1/3 of our lives sleeping? So if you live to 75, you're sleeping roughly 25 years in total. Every time people say things like that, the natural response certainly is to be like, oh, well, I have to not sleep as much because I'm not going to get enough done. But I'll prove to you why that's not the right way to think. Did you also know that dreams happen in real time? I know. Even though they feel like they last in hours, they actually happen in real time. So the average dream lasts about 20 minutes, 5 to 20 minutes max. And did you know that sleepwalking is more common than you think? So almost 4% of adults experience sleepwalking at some point, and 1 in 5 children will sleepwalk at least once. I remember a time I sleepwalked into the bathroom tub to sleep. Not a good look. Thank God no one captured that on camera. That was way before the iPhones were out. Did you also know that blind people are able to dream? I know. So they can still have visual imagery, but not as intense as people that have sight. Interesting, right? And this I found very interesting. Apparently, humans are the only mammals that willingly delay sleep. How interesting is that? So most animals will sleep when they feel tired, but human beings will override the natural urges. Yeah, and they will stay awake, which is interesting. I don't know if that's good or bad. But anyway, in a culture such as ours that values productivity, we are fast-paced, we're trying to get as many things done in the hours that we are awake. I think that sleep is definitely overrated. But I will tell you this, sleep is essential for your overall health, your cognitive function, your emotional well-being. And unfortunately, we often sacrifice it for our work, for social activities, and goodness, screen time. But the unfortunate truth is that when we undervalue sleep, it can lead to chronic sleep deprivation, and that can have real negative effects on our physical health, on our mental clarity, and the daily performance that we need to actually be productive. So the very thing that we are trying to stay awake for, we don't do as well because we're not sleeping enough or sleeping as well as we should. So I think promoting a better understanding of sleep's role and giving it its priority and giving it its place in our lives will ultimately improve the quality of our lives. I really do believe that. So we're going to start with the science of sleep because why not? Because we are geeks here at Travel Light, are we not? Yeah. So let's talk about that very quickly. Now, so when sleep happens, we have different stages in sleep. So we have what's called the rapid eye movement phase of sleep, and we have the non-rapid eye movement state of sleep. So I'll explain more. So in stage 1, which is a non-rapid eye movement state of sleep, is your light sleep. So what happens in this phase is that you are transitioning between being awake and sleeping. Your body starts to relax, your heart rate is slowing down, your eye movement is slowing down, your breathing gets a bit slower, and your wonderful brain starts, it's still kind of active and is producing what we call theta waves, high amplitude waves. And this stage typically lasts about 10 minutes. Now, in this stage, if somebody came and maybe give you a wee nudge or you had a loud noise, you probably will be woken up quite easily. And if you've ever experienced this when you're falling asleep, sometimes you get these wee jerks. They're called hypnic jerks. This happens as your muscles begin to relax ever so slowly. Then in stage 2, which is also a non-rapid eye movement stage, this is again the deeper light sleep. Right here, your body temperature is dropping, your heart rate slows even further. Your sleep becomes much more stable, and you become less aware of the surroundings around you. This stage lasts about 20 minutes, and people spend about half of their total sleep time during non-rapid eye movement sleep in stage 2. Yeah. Now, right here, your brain waves are slowing down and begin to release the sleep spindles and what we call K complexes. Don't worry, I just had to put that in there because it's just fun. And these waves are thought to help you with your memory consolidation. So the experiences you've had during the day, your brain basically takes it all together and starts to make sense of it and put it all together. And these waves also help you sort of prevent disturbances from waking you up in this stage. So as we go deeper into your sleep stages, the next would be your stage 3, which is your deep sleep or your slow wave sleep. So this is your deepest stage of sleep, and also this is your most restorative stage of sleep. And here your body repairs tissues, it grows muscles, and strengthens your immune system, which is amazing. So here your body's completely relaxed. So your muscles are completely relaxed. Your blood pressure drops and your breathing slows. And right here, there's memory consolidation. So the facts you've picked up, knowledge you've picked up, experiences you've picked up are solidified, and you may get some emotional memory processing as well. And if you have more of this stage of sleep, it means that you're able to process and deal with emotional experiences more effectively. Now, this stage lasts between 20 to 40 minutes, but that will decrease as the night progresses. Now, in this stage, your brain releases what's called delta waves, and it's really hard to wake somebody up in this stage. I feel like I'm in this stage quite a bit. But if you do, get woken up in this stage, you will feel quite groggy and disorientated. And it's in this stage that maybe there might be some sleep talking or sleepwalking as well. And the thing is, though, with this deep sleep stage is if you don't get enough of this stage, of this phase, you do not feel refreshed when you wake up. So really, really important phase. So the next stage as we go down in our stages of sleep is stage 4, which is your rapid eye movement sleep. I'm going to call it REM sleep, okay? So this is your most active part of sleep and where most of your dreaming occurs. Interestingly, even though you are completely knocked out, your brain becomes more active. And if you were to examine your brain at that point, it would look like you were awake, which is so interesting. So your REM sleep occurs for the first time about 90 minutes after falling asleep and lasts about 10 minutes. And each REM cycle gets longer throughout the night. And with the final REM period, it lasts about an hour. So in this stage, your eyes are moving rapidly, hence the name rapid eye movement sleep. Your breathing and your heart rate increases. And interestingly, your voluntary muscles, so these right here in your legs and all that, are temporarily paralyzed. And the thought is that it's to prevent you from acting out your dreams, which kind of makes sense. REM sleep is especially important for cognitive functions like your learning, again, your memory consolidation, and emotional regulation. Now, each stage of sleep is massively important. So stage 1 and 2 are very important because they prepare you. They're that stage, transition you between wakefulness and deeper sleep, allowing your body to get ready for that the more restorative stages. Stage 3 is essential for your physical recovery, for hormone regulation, and for your immune function. And as I mentioned just there, stage 4 is vital for your mental recovery, including your memory, your learning, and your emotional health. Now, a typical sleep cycle would involve all 4 stages and lasts about 90 minutes. And on average, people go through 4 to 6 cycles per night. Yeah? Hope you found that interesting. I always find that interesting. I love sleep. Like, it's great. So let's talk about sleep and your brain. So sleep that is particularly, good in quality will boost your mental clarity by enhancing your focus, your creativity, and your memory, and also support you to become more emotionally stable because it will help you regulate your mood better, manage stress better, and improve your overall emotional resilience. So prioritizing rest, prioritizing uninterrupted sleep, prioritizing really good sleep is one of the most effective ways to achieve better cognitive performance and emotional balance. So sleep has a really profound effect on your stress hormones. And I keep coming back to those hormones because they're really important. And it's really important, especially with cortisol, which is our friend, which is great in small doses, but when it's too much, we don't like. And that's one of the hormones that is really responsible for managing stress. So I'm going to tell you something about your body. So our body has what's called a natural circadian rhythm. It's this body clock that responds very much to daylight and nighttime and things like that. So it's a rhythm that your body has as well, which is just amazing. With cortisol particularly, your levels rise naturally and peak in the early morning around waking time, which makes sense to get you ready for the day, to energize you, and it will gradually decrease throughout the day. And then by evening, it reduces, to very, very little to support you to relax and sleep. Because if your cortisol is raised at night, it means that you're go, 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 go. So your body has a function. It has a way to even regulate that level of cortisol. So if our sleep is poor, and that's in terms of the time, so the duration and the quality, unfortunately, that can mean that your cortisol production is increased. And instead of decreasing at night, that cortisol can remain elevated, and it can make it very hard for you to fall asleep or stay asleep. And this creates a vicious cycle because the high cortisol will disrupt your sleep, the poor sleep will disrupt your cortisol, and on and on and on it goes. And another interesting thing to note is there is another really cool hormone called melatonin, which regulates your sleep. Now, it works inversely with cortisol. So as I mentioned, cortisol peaks in the morning and comes to its lowest in the evening. With melatonin, it's lowest in the morning and highest in the evening, obviously, so that you're ready for sleep. However, if the cortisol levels are high and remains high because of stress or poor sleep, the body isn't able to make as much melatonin, which makes sleep even much more difficult to achieve, particularly the more deeper and restorative sleep. So, very important. When we dip into chronic stress, it can affect sleep again. We can have insomnia. We can find that we're waking up more frequently during the night and have poor sleep quality. Again, stress will activate your fight or flight response, and that will, raise your level of alertness, which will make it difficult for you to unwind at night and relax and get to sleep. When we are chronically stressed, we might have overstimulation of our mind, and again, that hyperarousal makes it difficult for us to get into deeper sleep. Sometimes we may achieve that stage 1 or 2 sleep, but unfortunately, with those stages, even though they're really important, it means that if we stay in those stages, we are more easily disturbed, and then we can then have much more fragmented and frequent wakening. So, as I mentioned, that deep, slow wave sleep is really important because it's necessary for our bodies to rejuvenate and get refreshed and things. If we don't get enough of that stage, you might find that you're waking up feeling foggy, feeling a wee bit tired, still quite irritable. So all the stages are necessary. However, there's something unique about that slow wave sleep when it comes to getting repair and getting built up again, ready for the next day's action. Jumping further into that, adequate sleep is crucial, again, for physical recovery and renewal. If you are into, weight training or bodybuilding, any trainer worth their salt will tell you to get something like 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night because it's so useful. When you are in deeper sleep, it will release important hormones that are necessary for repairing your tissues and muscles, which get damaged by daily activities and especially when you exercise. If you're an athlete, if you're trying to be an athlete, it's important that you sleep well because it will help you with recovery. As I mentioned, your immune system depends a lot on sleep. There's a reason why when you're stressed, again, with cortisol and all that, it can throw your immune system off. Sleep is a major part of that because during sleep, your body will release certain hormones and certain chemicals that are necessary for immune cells, and it will help your body to fight off infections and reduce inflammation effectively. Also, energy restoration as well, helping you to combat fatigue and be refreshed the following day. Also, cardiovascular health as well. Sleep allows your body, your blood vessels, and your heart to rest and will reduce the risk of hypertension and cardiovascular diseases. Also, your very cells, sleep will support the repair and regeneration of damaged cells and will help you to combat what's called oxidative stress and prevent premature aging. I want to live like forever, or, for some people, take it to a good ripe old age. So it's important that we, if you want to live longer, if you want to enjoy, to see your children and grandchildren, all that kind of good stuff, sleep is going to be a major part of that. And as I also mentioned, with hormones, I've spoken about hormones such as melatonin and cortisol, but you have other hormones as well, like your growth hormone. You have also hormones that control your appetite and metabolism and things like weight gain and things like that. If you're deprived of sleep, these disrupt your hormones. There's a reason why when you haven't slept well, you're more hungry during the day. Yeah, it is explained by the science of it all. So your body needs sleep. And let's talk about your spirit. Rest is not just about physical recovery. It's about your soul being renewed as well. And it's important that we create a restful environment that allows for this natural rhythm to work well. So think about it. Sleep. When we're sleeping, that's when we dream, right? And I'm sure at least one of us here listening to my chat today will have had one experience where God spoke to you about something through your dreams. Maybe he showed up, or maybe he showed up through somebody. There was a message that as I like to say, God knew that he would not get your attention until he got you completely knocked out to get. So it's a really, really important part of our relationship with the Lord. And dreams will often reveal secret things that we're not aware of, things that are lurking in our subconscious. I have so many examples of this. Do I even want to share? Oh gosh, it's so vulnerable. But it's important for our soul. Emotional health, healing as well. Quality sleep supports that. Again, your mental clarity, super important for that as well. And just having balanced life, because again, it's about your spirit, soul, and your body, right? And remember your emotions and your mind, which are rejuvenated, particularly in that sort of deeper phase of sleep, part of your soul. So it's really, really important. And let's talk more again about that spiritual connection. So we read in the creation story that, of course, God made Adam and Eve and blessed them and gave them the world to tend to, Garden of Eden, rather to tend to. And then we learn when we go into Genesis 2 that how God creates Eve. So at this point, Adam is, riding solo, enjoying all the goodness that God has for him. God causes him to fall into a deep sleep. And whilst Adam is knocked out, he creates Eve from his rib. And I just love that. I just believe that that's a picture of, first of all, rest. Rest is a necessary part of God's ongoing creative work. Oftentimes, God will ask us to chill so that he can work, and deep sleep, again, I don't think this is a metaphorical thing, just this is a real thing. I do believe that there are times when we are not able to get in the way of God's work, God is able to achieve his plans and his purposes for us. So sleep is a deeply spiritual thing. It's glorious. It's a place of creativity. It's a place where God meets with man and new things are birthed. And we read in Psalm 127 verse 2, he says, he grants sleep to those he loves. Again, showing that sleep is a divine blessing, for his lovers. He wants for us to enjoy sleep. And again, I do believe it goes beyond physical, but it starts with that, I already touched on this, but, I'm going to give more biblical examples. I have found in scripture and even in my life that sleep provides us a unique opportunity to encounter God. There are so many stories in scripture that back this up. So we read in Genesis 28 about Jacob. Jacob he falls asleep and he has this dream where a ladder reaches heaven, is shown to him in the sleep, and then there's angels going up and coming down. Again, there's like this profound revelation that Jacob receives whilst he's sleeping. I guess God could have given him in his waking time, but there's something about God using sleep because it is something that he's created. It's beautiful. It's just wonderful. Again, sleep there, illustrating the divine communication that happens between heaven and earth when we are not fully conscious of our physical surroundings. We read in 1 Kings where Solomon receives wisdom in a dream. Like, amazing, just amazing. Again, God will use sleep as an avenue to instruct us, an avenue to encounter him, an avenue to show us great and mighty things. And aside from myself, people I mentor, people who've told me wonderful things about, encounters I've had with the Lord, night visions, as they call them. Certainly my husband, not that long ago, had very strong warning that he had to pay strong attention to whilst he was asleep. God had spoken to him in a variety of ways whilst he was awake, but he was busy. Life is happening. And God had to come in a really profound way, like, son, yeah, we can do this. Like, let's like sort this issue out ASAP. And I know we've all had such experiences. And you know what? I believe that when we imbibe that attitude and that rhythm of rest, it really is a communication to God that we are letting him provide for us. We are letting him be God. We're coming to him because we're weary and we're heavy laden, and he's going to give us rest. We're surrendering anxieties to him and choosing to rest and allowing him to be God, giving him the space and the place that he wants to have in our lives, right? Because when we rest, he works. So I hope that in this first episode, I have at least teased you a wee bit talking about how sleep is important. I didn't mention this earlier, but science hasn't quite figured out how or why sleep works. And I have kept it, of course, basic because we don't want to go into all the science of it and what parts of the brain and all that kind of stuff is involved, because I think you might be bored by that. But it's really complex, and it's just really, that's why I call it the wonder of sleep. It is, in a sense, a bit of a mystery, but it is glorious. It is wonderful. And I believe that God wants us to treat it as such, to embrace it as a gift that he has given us, and prepare ourselves for encounters with him, prepare ourselves for our souls to be rejuvenated, for our bodies to be prepared so that we're ready for the next day, which is a gift in itself to be enjoyed. So it's just wonderful. So I wanted you to think about what we've talked about today. How has the science of sleep maybe helped you to think about sleep a bit different? Figuring out, are there ways where you have ignored sleep, where you've thought sleep was something that you had to do, but not something you actually get to do? And are there ways where we can repent of that and embrace this wonderful gift God has given us? So let's think on that. Till next time, we're going to continue again in the next episode on sleep. Have a good one and continue to travel light. I will see you soon. Bye.